This app makes going through security so much easier. Hello from the floor of my apartment in Kyoto. So yes, after 2 weeks of visiting my family in New York, I am back in Japan. And since then, we've had some big news in Japan. If you haven't already heard, you've probably been living under a rock. Japan's borders are finally open to tourists. So no package tours or anything like that. Individual tourists will be able to come to Japan freely starting next week on October 11th. So yeah, like I mentioned before, I just got back to Japan about 2 days ago, so I went through the whole airport process, and there are some things you still need to do because of COVID, and they are pretty strict about it, so I thought I would share that here with you guys today in this video. Japan has streamlined the whole airport check-in process compared to what I had to do 2 years ago when I came here in the thick of the COVID. This was a breeze. The whole airport security check-in thing took a total of 35 minutes, which is just insane because immigration alone took over an hour when I flew into New York about 2 weeks ago. I'm looking at you, JFK. Anyway, so here is what you will have to do if you're planning on coming to Japan in the near future. Step 1, go on the official government website in Japan for Fast Track to check if you will have to quarantine when you get here. This is solely based on what country you're coming from. Luckily for me, I was coming from America, so I did not have to quarantine. Step 2, download the MySOS app on your smartphone. This app makes going through security so much easier. I wish they had this 2 years ago when I moved here. Without this app, it took much longer to get through the whole airport security thing, including the COVID check stuff. So step 3 is a day or two before your travel, upload all of your information onto the MySOS app. So that includes your passport, some personal information, and your vaccine card proving that you have been triple vaccinated, at least triple vaccinated. So don't worry if you don't have 3 vaccines, you can still get into Japan using the app. You will be required to submit a negative COVID test at least 72 hours or 3 days before your flight departure time to Japan. Sorry, the light is changing. The sun is like doing a thing. So for example, if your flight is at 3 p.m. on a Monday, the earliest that you can get your PCR test is on Friday at 3 p.m. Yes. Definitely keep in mind that Japan is very strict about what kind of COVID tests that they accept for you to come into the country. So at-home tests are completely out of the question. You will have to go to a doctor or a testing site. So this part was a little confusing to me at first. You don't need the official results from the doctor's office, like the ones that they automatically give you. What you need is this sheet specifying which test that you got, the date and the time of your test, and the institution where you got your test. So this is the sheet that you will be uploading to your MySOS app instead of your vaccine card. So yeah, I'll link down below where you can find the sheet on the official government website. It was kind of hard to find. I had to do a little searching to get it. But yeah, don't try to upload the sheet that you get from the doctor. Do make sure that you upload this sheet. And they're really strict. Make sure it's filled out in black pen. They don't like blue pen. So these are the accepted tests by the Japanese government. So quantitative antigen tests are accepted, but qualitative antigen tests are not accepted. If you get a nasal swab test, it is only valid if the test method is also NAAT or nucleic acid amplification. So yeah. A lot to keep in mind with this test thing. I had to get 2 tests. My first test I got at a free testing site in New York City. I met all of the testing qualifications, but the test didn't come back in time. So the morning of my flight, I had to go to an urgent care facility and get a PCR test that cost me almost $200. They give me the results in 15 minutes, including the sheet. You make sure everything is written correctly and that you have the right test checked, the right date and time written. It's also written in Japanese format, so take note of that. You have to put the year first, then the month, and then the day. And yeah, and if all of your information is uploaded correctly on your MySOS app, your app will turn blue or green. If they didn't accept your test and they don't like what you uploaded, your app will be yellow or red. So once all of your information is correctly uploaded onto the app, your app should turn green or blue. If it's not correctly uploaded or that they don't like your test or vaccine card for some reason, your app will turn yellow or red. Mine turned blue, so I was good to go. So step 4 is once you land in Japan, you will be able to show your blue or green app to the quarantine officers, and they will give you this blue sheet, which you will have to show at several other checkpoints when going through airport security. So make sure to keep this out, hold on to it, don't lose it. So yeah, they'll also give you this sheet which tells you how you can prevent the spread of infection, what to do if you test positive, and quarantine instructions if you have to quarantine. So this really confused me at first because I was like, I thought I didn't have to quarantine. Why am I being given rules on how to quarantine? Do I actually have to quarantine? But no, this sheet is given to everyone who enters the country regardless of whether or not you are required to quarantine. And that is pretty much it. After that, you'll just have to go through regular custom things. And as long as your app is blue, you won't have to take a test once you land at the airport. I think if your app is yellow or red, you will have to take another test once you land. If you do end up testing positive, it is best to check with your local Japanese consulate to see how to best proceed from there. Something else to note if you are coming to Japan in the near future is that Japan is still wearing masks. If you fly here with a Japanese airline, you will be required to wear a mask for the duration of your flight and in the airport once you land. Masks are still very much worn here. You will be required to wear them in almost any indoor place. Outside masks aren't required anymore, but they're still worn by at least 90% of the population. If you are someone who can't wear a mask because of medical reasons, or you just find it uncomfortable and don't want to wear it, which I totally understand, I do think it's best to wait a little longer until masks aren't so much of a thing anymore. It may impact your time in Japan, and that would totally suck if you waited so long to come here and when you finally did, you didn't have a good time because of the mask thing. Anyway, that's all for today. I do hope this video was helpful to you in some way. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more Japan things, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!